And in the studio this morning, we've got Taj Gill with us. Taj is an editor. He's been working in TV and film for many a year now. Worked on programmes such as Bob's Full House, Noel's House Party, Deal or No Deal, Midsummer Murders, Heartbeat, amongst others. Morning, Taj.
Morning.
Taj, tell us a little bit about your role as an editor. I think people have a general understanding of what an editor would be, but tell us a little bit more about the specifics of your role. What would you do on a day-to-day basis?
Well, on a day-to-day basis, if I were working for a film or a programme, I'd normally assemble the raw material, and then obviously I've got to prepare it at the end, so I've got to put it onto a videotape before it actually goes onto the computer. Then I've got to work with...
Do they still use videotapes?
No, not at the moment, but sometimes I do. It depends who you work for. But if you're more with let's say modern companies for like Sky, then obviously you can just use different methods, and then it can go straight onto the software, onto the computer. It's much easier.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I can work with digital. I can work with all sorts of
different formats of video.
Yeah, there's different formats really. I cut files, but sometimes I can do a rough cut or I can do a final cut. It depends who I work for. Because like if it's a cheap budget sort of program, I can do normally both. But if it's more wide scale for like a big company, then I'm either designated with rough cut, and that's where I just put like all the footage together and roughly go over it. But if I'm final cut, then I've actually got to go into the depths and make sure there's no like faults. And then I've got to run over it and make sure it's smoothened out and everything like that, really.
Okay. Do you need any specific training for being an editor?
Well, I took a BA's on a 3-year full-time course at the London School of Film and Media Production.
Okay.
Yeah. But normally you can just also learn on the job as well.
Yeah, because I mean, lots of people more and more these days are editing at home or those kind of things. But what's the advantage of having some formal training?
Formal training, well, you get the actual, not just the technique, but you get the business idea because you're actually working as a corporation.
Okay.
So like you get to work as in you're like in a real life situation. So like you say you designated like a real sort of piece what you've got to do for a program, and then you've got to present it at the end of it and make sure everything's up to scratch.
Okay.
Sort of thing. So yeah, you get like a feel for the actual business you're going to work for.
And what's the most interesting problem you've come across you've had to solve in your role as an editor?
Right. Well, normally if there's any problems, we have to reorder it and tweak the content and logically, so it actually runs in like a timed sequence. So sometimes it's not like we go over it, but there's always going to be faults. But sometimes, like in the interesting problem, like I can be an online editor as well, which like that's the technical aspects of it.
Okay.
Yeah, so I can like correct faulty footage, grading, colouring, and add special effects as well.
Okay, so special effects is quite an interesting new part of editing, I would imagine, that's really interesting to be involved with. And you went to the London School of Film.
Yeah.
And would you say that's one of the better universities to go to go into?
Oh, definitely, because it's not just like on a wide scale, it's more specialised for what you want to do in the media.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us this morning, Taj, and we'll speak to you again soon.
Okay.